Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how I made all of these cookies in one day, in like 4 hours. Chocolate chip cookies, peanut butter and jelly cookies, mini M&M, chewy, fudgy, salted chocolate cookies, snickerdoodle, and super easy, no chill, cutout sugar cookies with royal icing. I started this whole thing at 11 o'clock and it is currently at 4:36. I don't know what's wrong with me, but let's get started. There will also be individual videos for each one of these in case you don't want to watch a whole production. We're gonna start with something easy, peanut butter cookies. No, these aren't your like 3-ingredient peanut butter, sugar, egg cookies. These are way better. This recipe's from the Preppy Kitchen. Start with 1 stick of room temperature unsalted butter, 1/2 cup regular sugar, and a 1/2 cup packed brown sugar. Cream these together with your mixer. And what that means is you basically mix it until you can't tell the difference between sugar and butter. It should look something like this when you're done. Add in 1 cup of creamy peanut butter. Whenever I make a bunch of recipes all at once, I always have a bowl of hot water in the sink that I put everything in so it can soak while I make everything. That way at the end, it's super easy to clean. I don't know if that sentence made any sense, but you get it. Now just mix in the peanut butter. Now we're gonna add in 1 large room temperature egg. I get a lot of questions why I crack it into a separate bowl and dirty a bowl and then pour it in here. They're farm fresh eggs, okay? And I have a rooster. I don't want any baby birds in my cookies. We're also gonna be trying out my homemade vanilla extract. And I made vanilla extract before, but this time I put way more beans. About a teaspoon. Teaspoon of vanilla extract. Mix that up. All right, you don't have to sift it. I'm gonna sift it because I'm an overachiever. Sift in 1.5 cups all-purpose flour and 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. Calm down, it's a 3/4 cup. Now just mix this up. I also found this super cute silicone spatula at Walmart for $2, so we're gonna be using that before I break my mixer, and we'll just mix it in the rest of the way. Your dough should look something like this. I'm gonna be using this same dough for the peanut butter and jelly cookies as I am for just the plain peanut butter cookies. For the plain peanut butter ones, we'll just crisscross them with a fork, and then for the peanut butter and jelly ones, we'll do a thumbprint and add some grape jelly. This is another year without a cookie scoop, so I'm just gonna use the 1 tablespoon measure and roll them into little balls. Like this. And place them on our parchment lined cookie sheet. Once all your cookies look something like this, we're gonna take a fork and give them that classic crisscross pattern on top. These don't spread very much, so however much you flatten them with the fork is basically how they're gonna look when they come out. All right, I'm gonna set these to the side and make our thumbprint cookies so they can all go in at the same time. Now we've got them all rolled into balls. We're gonna go through and press down the middle of each one. I've got nails, so I'm gonna do a 1/2 teaspoon measure. I'm also gonna go through and flatten them just a little bit as well so that they hold the jelly better. They should look something like this, cute little bowls ready for the jelly. I'm gonna use the opposite end of this 1/2 teaspoon measure so I don't get any peanut butter in here. And I'm gonna put a little bit of jelly in each one. 1/2 teaspoon and butter knife combo works perfectly for this. You just plop it right in. Now that I have both of these trays done, it is 11:36 and our first batch of cookies is going in. 350 degrees for 10 minutes. And make sure you put them on the same rack. Now we're gonna get a clean bowl and we're gonna make one of the doughs that has to chill a little bit. You might be thinking to yourself, why didn't you start with that one? I wanted to start with something easy because I'm overwhelmed. These are the world's worst chocolate chip cookies. Once you make them, people are always going to ask you to bring them to every function you're invited to. You're going to start with 2 sticks of butter. I like to do 1 salted and 1 unsalted. And we're going to melt this in the microwave so we can let it cool for at least 5 or 10 minutes. This recipe is by Sugar Spun Run, by the way. Fold up the butter wrappers and add them to your stockpile. While the butter cools, I like to whisk together all of my dry ingredients. And I also like to use a scale for this recipe so it's perfectly exact. It's going to be 415 grams of all-purpose flour. That's 3 cups plus 1/3. And I'm going to be using this as a base for my M&M cookies as well, so I'll just split up the dough before I add in the chocolate chips. 11:47, first batch of cookies coming out of the oven. Here's the peanut butter ones, and here's the peanut butter and jelly ones. Those take a little while to cool, so they're just on the stove, chilling out. Set the scale to the side for now. Into the flour, we're going to add 2 teaspoons of cornstarch, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon baking soda, and 1 teaspoon baking powder. Whisk all these ingredients together. Into a separate bowl, we're gonna do 300 grams of brown sugar, or 1.5 cups. Plus 100 grams or 1/2 cup of regular sugar. Go ahead and whisk these sugars together. Into the sugar, we're gonna add 2 room temperature eggs. Break these up a little bit, but you don't have to mix it in fully. Add a teaspoon of vanilla extract and a 1/4 cup of pure maple syrup. I told you they were the worst. Trust me, it's worth it. Finally, pour in your cooled butter, and we're gonna mix this all together until we get a nice wet sand texture. I probably should have used a bigger bowl, but I'm a little bit low on bowls right now. You're supposed to add the dry into the wet, but I'm just gonna do it like this because I do it like this a lot and it works just fine. This is just the low bandwidth method, okay? It's 11:59 and we're gonna fold these ingredients together. Just fold and mix this together until your dough forms and there's no more flour spots. You could totally do all of these recipes in a stand mixer, but apparently I hate myself. My arm is gonna fall off by the end of today. At this stage, we're gonna add 2 cups of whatever mix-ins you wanna do. My favorite are semi-sweet Toll House chips and mini M&Ms. Or you can split this in half and do 1 cup in each one. That's what I'm gonna do. So if you see 2 different videos that look the exact same until we get to here, mind your business. And fold those in. We'll call that lunch. It's 12:05. We're putting these in the fridge to chill. What's next? What's next? I think we're gonna go ahead and put the rest of the peanut butter cookies in the oven because the other ones have pretty much cooled now, and we're gonna start on the Snickerdoodle cookies that also need to chill. 2 hours. We have 1 hour till 1 p.m. But hey, even if we get it done in like 3 or 4 hours, that's still not that bad, right? 12:08, we're getting out our cookie drying racks for the peanut butter cookies. Check your box. Most of the time you can reuse your parchment paper. First cooling tray going over to what little counter space I have left. Second batch of peanut butter cookies into the oven. Snickerdoodle recipe is from easygayoven.com, and it's the best one I've ever had. Until I found this recipe, I thought I hated Snickerdoodles. I need to wash a bowl. All right, into your smaller bowl, it's gonna be 260 grams or 2 cups of flour. 1 teaspoon cream of tartar. No, you can't skip this. It's basically what sets apart a Snickerdoodle from a sugar cookie. 1 teaspoon. You can find this in the spice aisle at the grocery store. 1 teaspoon baking soda, and a 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Whisk all this together and set it to the side. Get out a bigger bowl, and you're gonna need 1.5 cups or 196 grams of powdered sugar. And into this, you're gonna add 12 tablespoons or 1.5 sticks of gently melted butter. Add that in, and we're gonna beat this together until it's smooth. Now we're gonna add in 1 egg and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Mix this up until it's all combined. Now put away your mixer and we're gonna switch to a spatula. I'm gonna have all of these recipes linked in the caption, by the way. Add all of your dry ingredients into the wet, and we're gonna fold this together until all the flour is gone. Once there's no more flour streaks, stop mixing. It should look something like this. Now we're gonna cover it with plastic wrap and chill it for 2 hours. Into the fridge, 2 hours. It's 12:27. Now I'm gonna film the intro and outro for the short form version of the peanut butter cookies. Plate number 1, plate number 2. Today I'm showing you guys, done. You're welcome, and done. This is your reminder to drink some water and fix your posture. What's next? I guess realistically at this point we could start baking some of the chocolate chip cookies. I feel like we should either make the soft and chewy chocolate chip or the roll-out sugar cookies. Let's make these chocolate ones. So I really don't have any bowls now. Okay, 12:31, we're gonna wash some dishes. I have my wonderful helper back here washing some dishes for me. He's wearing his Christmas sweater. For these chocolate cookies, it's gonna be 3/4 of a cup room temperature butter. So that's 1.5 sticks, and 1.5 cups granulated sugar. Now we're gonna beat this together until light and creamy. This recipe is from completelydelicious.com, by the way. It should look something like this. Now we're gonna add in 2 eggs, 1 at a time. Now we're gonna add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. It's 12:42. Mix that in. Now in a separate bowl, we're gonna put 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2/3 of a cup cocoa powder, 1/2 teaspoon salt, and 1 teaspoon baking soda. It says to sift these together, but my sifter is not clean, so we're just gonna use a whisk because this is my favorite hack for sifting things when I don't wanna sift. It's good enough and I feel like it works just fine. Now we're gonna add it into our butter mixture and we're gonna mix just until combined. I just had a moment of clarity and I think we're gonna use a spatula instead if I want my hand mixer to make it to 2026. It's gonna look way too dry at first, just trust the process and keep stirring until it looks like this. I've never wanted a cookie scoop as much as I do right now. They should look something like this into your 350-degree oven for 9 minutes, just until the edges are set and the tops don't look wet anymore. 12:52, our chocolate cookies are going in. All right, into the fridge. Let's get out our chocolate chip and M&M cookies and get those in the oven. After it's chilled, we're gonna roll them into balls that are a little bit taller than they are wide and put them on a parchment lined baking sheet. They should look something like this into your 350-degree oven for 13 minutes. They're gonna look underbaked, just trust it. This is what the chocolate cookies look like when they come out, and we're gonna immediately sprinkle them with a little coarse sea salt. Don't waste your money on flaky sea salt, just get the dollar store coarse sea salt. We're gonna let them cool on the pan for a few minutes, and then we're gonna transfer them to a wire rack to cool completely. Here's what the M&M cookies look like when they come out of the oven. I did them for 12 minutes. I think my oven's just running a little hot today, but even if they come out like this, it'll be totally fine. Now we're gonna let them cool on the pan for like 5 or 10 minutes. It's 1:15 and we're transferring the chocolate cookies onto the drying rack. Now I'm going to use these same sheets of parchment again to put more chocolate chip and M&M cookies in the oven. I know we're a little bit behind schedule, but I'm pretty shocked given my mood this morning and right before I started filming that I even got these done at all. So now let's do the intro and outro for the chocolate cookies. Then once we're done with that and the chocolate chips come out, we'll do the intro and outro for chocolate chip and M&M. Then we'll do the rollout sugar cookies. And by that time, Joshua should be back with my lunch from Taco Bell. I don't know what it is about Taco Bell on heavy work days. It just keeps me going. Let's go. That's so good. Oh my gosh. Now you might be thinking to yourself, oh, those aren't perfectly round. You got to do the glass trick and make them perfectly round. Listen, if you give someone a box of cookies and they're like, why aren't these round? Take the box of cookies. They don't deserve it. 129, we're putting in another batch of chocolate chip and M&M on the same tray. Also, when I went to get these out of the fridge, I was reminded that I have Snickerdoodle cookies in there. Don't worry, we're getting to them. Who knows if y'all are even still watching at this point. If you are, you're like my best friend, which means I'm gonna kiss you on the mouth. Consensually, of course, and as a friend. And only if you're 18 years or older. But really, if you're 25 or older, we'll just leave it at we're besties, okay? Now it's getting weird. Good thing I'm medicated for my ADHD now, because before, when I would make a lot of cookies like this, I would forget and I would enter into a flow state and not put on an oven mitt and just take stuff out of the oven with my bare hands. Thank God for medication. This is what the chocolate chip cookies look like when they come out, and I like to just go like that and let them flatten a little bit, and we're gonna let them cool on the pan for probably like 5 or 10 minutes and then move them to a cooling tray. If you need to use the same pans though, make sure for all of these cookies you're not putting them on a hot pan. All right, let's start the sugar cookies. These sugar cookies take no chill time and you can roll them out and cut them right then. Perfect if you need a quick cookie to do with your kids. For these sugar cookies, you're gonna need 2 sticks of room temperature softened butter and 1 cup of granulated sugar. I'm just going to be using my stand mixer, but you can do this with a hand mixer as well. We're just going to cream these together for about 3 minutes. Her recipe calls for almond extract. I don't have any almond extract that's not expired, so we're just going to do a little bit of extra vanilla. Do like 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. We're also going to add in 1 egg. Now we can finally put our eggs away at 142. Beat this together and make sure you're scraping down the sides of the bowl. It's going to be 3 cups all-purpose flour. Make sure you fluff it up before you scoop it because you don't want it packed in the cup. Or you can spoon and level it if you have more time than I do. We can't put this away yet. We'll need it to roll them out. Add salt into this if you're not using salted butter. 1/2 teaspoon. Now we just need 2 teaspoons baking powder. Give this a little whisk to get that baking powder all throughout the flour. Part's really important or you might end up with some really poofy cookies and some not so great flat cookies. Now we're just gonna add this a little bit at a time, mixing in between and scraping down the sides of the bowl. I'm gonna do it in thirds, so I'm gonna add a third, then mix. Then when that's almost mixed in, I'm gonna add another third. I kind of go like this to get it mixed in so it doesn't poof up everywhere. And make sure you lock the head of your mixer down. If you don't have faith in your mixer, when it gets to this stage and it really starts bogging it down, you can take it out and knead it with your hands. I don't want to do anything else with my hands other than roll and cut these out. So if you're cutting these out, go ahead and get you a scoop of flour and have it out so you don't have to stick doughy hands into your flour. Sprinkle some flour on your surface. That's way too much. You only want to work with about half of this dough at a time and mush it all into one cohesive ball. You don't want to do this on the counter because then you'll mix that flour in. Once it looks like this, then you can set it on the counter. I like using a fondant roller for my sugar cookies because it has little rings that go on there that make it the same size all the way across. I just have to find the rings. Hold on. 5 minutes later, they were already set out on the counter for me. This is basically what they look like, and then they're printed on the side Like this one says 3/16 of an inch, and I think I'm gonna use these because I don't know where my 1/4 of an inch one is. But basically you put these on the end, and then these keep you from pressing it down too thin. Do y'all know what I'm saying, or is my brain melting out of my ears? Put these on, flour the pin, stop it, and we're gonna roll this out. If it starts to break apart, don't worry, just press harder. It helps if you don't roll back and forth. That's what really causes it to stick to the rolling pin. Just roll in one direction. It's 1:53, let's find some Christmas cookie cutters. I just got so scared. I got a 0 storage warning from my phone, so we gotta hurry this up. All right, what do we got? What do we got? Christmas tree, gingerbread, snowflake. Is this a bell? What is this, a light bulb? I think 3 is good. We're just gonna go through and cut all these out, then put them on a parchment lined baking sheet, bake them at 350 degrees for 6 to 8 minutes. My favorite thing about this recipe is how many cookies it makes. I think it makes like 30 cookies. Of course, it depends on the size of the cookies, but makes a good amount. To transfer these, I use my trusty dusty dollar store super thin spatula. It's perfect for scooping these up. All right, they should look something like this into your 350 degree oven for 6 to 8 minutes. This is what the cookies are gonna look like after about 6 or 7 minutes. No, that's not a joke. I tried 6 minutes and then I was like, let me add 1 more minute. So this is what they look like. We're gonna let them cool on the pan. I went ahead and put the second tray in. It's 2:16, Joshua just got back with lunch. So I'm gonna take a few minutes and eat this real quick, and then we'll finish everything up. I think I just have to make royal icing, the intro and outro for sugar cookies, and then bake the snickerdoodles. It's 2:44, and my new goal is to have this all done by the time the school bus gets here. So now we're gonna finish up the snickerdoodles and get those in the oven. Once your dough is done chilling, you're gonna put a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar and 1 tablespoon of cinnamon into a bowl. Stir this up really well, and we're gonna scoop out about 2 tablespoons of dough and roll it into a ball, then roll it in that cinnamon sugar. They should look something like that. We're gonna put them on a parchment lined baking sheet. And you wanna leave a lot of room for them to spread out. It literally says place 6 or 7 dough balls on a half sheet tray. I cannot make this up. They should look something like this into your 350 degree oven for 6 minutes. After 6 minutes, they should look something like this. You're gonna take them out and thwap them on the counter. Hard. Then put them back into the oven for about 5 more minutes. It's 3:18, let's start making some royal icing for our sugar cookies. And no, we're not gonna decorate them today. I don't think I have enough time. But my kid does have some friends coming over, so maybe they'll wanna decorate some. So we'll make a big batch. I'm gonna be using the Wilton meringue powder. This is the best way to make royal icing. This is shelf stable and it lasts for a really, really long time. You can use a hand mixer or a stand mixer. I'm gonna be using my stand mixer fitted with the whisk attachment. It's gonna be 3 tablespoons meringue powder, 5 tablespoons water, and 4 cups or 1 pound of powdered sugar. I've got my pound of powdered sugar in here, and I'm gonna add 3 tablespoons of meringue powder and 5 tablespoons of water. I'm gonna wrap a kitchen towel around this and start to whip it up until it comes together. We're just gonna beat this on a low speed until peaks form in the icing, about 6 or 7 minutes. This is what it's gonna look like after it's done whipping. It's gonna be very crisp, white, and really thick. This is the consistency you want for making things like gingerbread houses or flowers and stuff like that. But this is a little bit too thick for the cookies. So we're gonna take it out of the mixer and add a little bit of water and mix it with our spatula. I wish I had my glass bowls, but every single bowl is in use right now. But basically you're gonna add less than a teaspoon of water in here. And we're gonna mix it up by hand. Just gonna keep going, adding a little bit of water and mixing a bunch until we get that outline consistency. I don't want y'all to spend all that time and money on your royal icing and then ruin it with food coloring. This is not the type of thing you want to use in your royal icing. It's going to be too watery and it's just going to ruin the consistency completely. These all natural food colorings, you definitely don't want to use this. This will ruin the consistency of almost any icing. I don't care. I don't care. You could use something like this gel coloring, but I'm going to show you what my favorite thing to use is. These Wilton icing colors. They're like a gel color. You can also use powdered food coloring, but these a little bit goes a long way. They get darker the longer that they sit, and they do not change the consistency of your icing. So that's what we're going to be using today. I think I'm going to do brown, green, blue, and red. What you want to do is mix up your color with the outline consistency. Pull that out, put it in a piping bag, and leave some in there. Mix a little bit of water. That way you have the same color. Does that make sense? Hopefully. So I'm just gonna dab a little bit of this on a butter knife. Now that I've got all of my colors, we've got cornflower blue, Kelly green, brown for our gingerbread, and a little bit of pink. And I'm gonna take my piping bag. I like using these more papery piping bags. They're cheaper and a lot easier to use as royal icing. I'm gonna stick it tip side down into a cup and flip it over the edge. This is gonna make it way easier for me to fill this cup. For the ones where I want outline and flood icing, I'm just gonna take about half of the icing and put it into the cup. And then the other half, I'm gonna add a little bit of water and mix it up to get my flood consistency. Here are all of my colors once they're done. I did one pink one, a green outline and flood, a blue, a brown outline and flood, and then white kind of just turned into flood. I had way more white than I thought. I probably could have done a couple more colors. Well, that will conclude Mazer Laser's 2025 Christmas Cookie Extravaganza. I don't know if that's gonna be the title for the video. Don't really know if that's search engine optimized. But if you found it based on the title, let me know down in the comments and leave a cookie emoji if you watched this far. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you want to see more videos like this, and hit the subscribe button so you get notified every single time that I post. Now I just want to go take a nap, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!